This is my new and improved habit tracker that I've been using for more than 90 days. Am I going to keep using it? Yes. And in this video, I'm not just going to walk through it, I'm going to show you step by step on how to make the exact same thing for yourself. Which, as cliche as this sounds, I actually consider a cheat code to life across any domain. My most popular video I put up about 4 months ago explaining why I switched from a digital habit tracker to a physical one, and even a step-by-step tutorial on how to make it. For those who haven't already guessed, the habit tracker was the one I ripped at the start of this video. Why? And that was just for fun. But it was also to show you the point of this video. With a few tweaks, this tracker has the actual habit tracker, even a gamified streak to keep, a mood graph, a sleep graph, an optional graph for anything else you would like to track. In this case, I have the number of pages I read in books, and most importantly, your daily highlight, a place where you can write down your most important task for the day. And guess what? This habit tracker has worked for me the best by far. And I'm not going to waste any more of your time. It's time to make it for yourself. Okay, let's start making this tracker, and I'm going to do it for the month of July. Basically, I have an A4 graph pad. I've took some paper, a full A4 sheet of paper out of that. I cut it up to these lengths that you'll see on the screen now. This should be a 12 by 20 piece of graph paper, and this is 18.5 by 5 centimeters. The tracker, by the way, does not have to be super nice or fancy. What I do is put the tracker down into my daily journal, which is a ruled A5 large term notebook, and the tracker goes at the start of each month. But I'm basically taking one out of another notebook and sticking it into this, because graphed paper is always easier to read and much nicer for making a habit tracker. If you want to do it on plain paper, a graph pad, or anywhere else, be free to do so. So we're going to get started on the daily highlights section. And I'll be honest, I don't know many of the rulings myself, so I keep after looking back at the previous months. So first of all, we're coming in 1.2 centimeters from the left side. This might not be the best, but I'll try my best. Basically 1.2 centimeters off the left edge of this piece of paper, sort of like this. Now I might have to go one more, because it is the month of July and there's 31 days. And this that I've just drawn is only 30. I'm going to go 6.5 centimeters to the right to draw my x-axis. Then we're going to bring the line all the way down. Make a little marking here so I know where to line it up. We're about to make a box 5 millimeters in width. Each line will be one box for each day. Straight down like the previous line, just like that. Forget about what happened there. What I'm going to do, just add lines to these boxes, just like that, so that looks a tiny bit nicer. If you have graph paper, you do not need to worry about this. A nicely boxed up tick section. For the title, let's add the dates. That's 1 down to 31 for July. 31 days all the way down, and then I'm just gonna add the days as well. This, I'm gonna pull up the calendar and check exactly how the days will line up. The first is a Wednesday, so I just add a letter beside it. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I also like to divide it up by weeks. I add a little line here where it ends. That way you can easily tell when each week is moving on to the next, in case you forget the date over your holidays, which I will do. And there we go. And the title is the daily highlight. So I'm not going to write anything on this page because I'm going to be using it for the month of July, but I'm going to explain each of the sections as we go along. So the daily highlight section is basically your most important task for the day. I will do this in the morning, and in the morning I'll write down the number one priority, the number one task that I want to finish for this day. And usually I'll do it in the morning. If you want, you can do it the night before. Just decide, if today were to be a great day, what is the one thing you would be willing to get through? And at the end of the day, put a tick in the corresponding box, whether you got it done or not. As an example, I'll show you this month, of the month of July. I've gotten through every single thing in the first half of June 2026. It's pretty much been going great. The next up, we have the tracker. Once again, 31 days, basically be 31 boxes. Again, depending on the month you're in. 31 days. And just draw a straight line up. Honestly, I could have went one more down. For reference, this is one of my worst ones made so far because of the way I'm doing it. But as an example to everyone watching, do it for you guys. Now we're going to go across. This depends on the amount of habits you have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 habits that you want to track max. Usually the less is better. I'm just going to go across all the way just before the last column of boxes. That was 4 centimeters by 15.5. This is the streak section. Just like the ticks we had for the daily highlight, we're going to have boxes for each day completed on our streak. Bring that straight down. Then, just like before, I'm going to flip it around and then fill in these boxes. And just for reference, so we know that it is the streak section, oops, I'm going to write down streak. That is the streak column. But let's just add the title space. You can write down habit tracker. That's the tracker. Like I said before, you don't want to add too many habits into the habit tracker. For those who want to know about the streak section, every day you complete a non-negotiable habit, it's another day you add to the streak. However, if you do miss a day, don't worry, just follow the 2-day rule. Try not to miss 2 days in a row. Skip 1, it's fine. Skip 2, and the chain will break. And of course, you're making this tracker physically by yourself with your own mind. So you make the rules. If you have any exceptions and if there are reasons for not completing a certain habit, then it's completely fine. Just keep going with the streak. Be honest with yourself. Choose the habits that you want to track. There's a method I like to use for this. When you're choosing the habits, I have the first row. This column right here, that's for my daily non-negotiable habit. Here, the non-negotiable habit is reading for 10 minutes every single day. And every time you complete the habit, you put an X in the box. I did forget to put down the date on the side, so I'll do that right after this. Pick a highlighter if you wish and highlight it in any color you want. That's different from the other habits. So one thing that you must get through along with your daily highlight for the day. And just to mention, when your non-negotiable habit is combined with your daily highlight, your number one priority for the day, those two make, I don't know how to explain it, but it's an overpowered combo for productivity. These are and should be the only focuses for your day to consider the day as successful. And don't be so harsh. If when you want the day to be easy, make sure your day is easy and choose something simple. And then we have the smaller habits. These are habits that you just track. You're not so strict about them. They're there to remind you and keep you aware that these habits you are tracking, which will make you more likely to actually complete them. I have meditation and journaling, reading the Holy Bible, speaking or greeting anyone I see, cutting my phone from 9 p.m. onwards. If you're wondering why I have stars here, it's because I did both meditation and journaling on the same day. Continued on from the last month, I have 57 days, all the way down to 71 on the day I'm recording this, and that is the tracker. So let's finish that off now. And before I forget, I'm going to write in the dates, because as you can probably tell, the dates over here will not match with the dates here. That's exactly why I'm going to rewrite all the dates in this section so that it's much easier for me to read. My non-negotiable habit is highlighted in blue. My sub-habits, the smaller ones, are highlighted in green. And then anything that I'm cutting, this is more of a habit that I consider negative, that I'm trying to cut off. Any of those habits I'll color in, well, orange or red. Now we move on to the graph. What we're going to do is bring it straight down. And then it's going to be 5 boxes across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is in line with the tracker that I've made. And I should have mentioned this before. Keep in mind, if you're sticking in your graph paper like I am, try to make sure that the boxes are in one row all the way across and in line with each other. This way it will be much easier to draw your graphs out and fill it in as you go along. 5 boxes once again. Bring it down. And then I have one more graph, and this is something else. 6 boxes across, straight down once again. I'll explain everything right after this. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 boxes across. There's one smaller thing right there. This is completely optional. Do not worry about what I'm about to do. Only do this if you're doing reading like me. Or you can add in something optional on the side, anything else. So the first graph is the mood graph, and here we're going to add in the numbers from 1 to 5, and this is going to be your mood for the day. That was supposed to be capital, but it doesn't matter. This is the mood graph. Every single day, at the end of the day, when you're taking off your daily highlight, when you're tracking all your habits, you fill out your mood. You can do this at any time actually. If you prefer to do it in the morning or during the day, it's as straightforward as it sounds. A score from 1 to 5 based on your feeling. A graph like this month has been really well so far. Next up, we have the sleep graph. It is 5 to 10. There we go. I'm gonna put a little bracket around 8. This is sleep in hours. And I put a bracket around 8 because 8 is my sleep goal. You might have different one. 8 is the recommended amount. And just like the mood graph, we're going to fill in this along we go. Watch will give me the exact metrics I got on sleep. How I do this, as an example, is like this. I fill in the point of the duration, and then underneath the point, I will add in my sleep score. And then as each day passes, I'll line up the dots to make a nice graph like that I can review back on every day and at the end of the month. Here I have the graph of options. I do track any one other thing. In my case, I have been doing a reading challenge over the last 90 days, which I'll make a video on soon. And this is another reminder of my non-negotiable habit, as well as the challenge that I'm taking up of becoming a better reader. I would highly recommend that if you're making an optional graph like this, to relate it to your non-negotiable habit. Whatever you want to improve, put it down on this graph, and you'll be much more aware of where you are each day and at the end of the month. And then this little small thing here is for every time I switch to a new book. So let's fill these in. 20, 30, 40 pages. And once I get into the flow of reading high number of pages, I'm always aiming the next day to get an amount even higher than that. And tracking can hugely help you develop better habits. Like you can see here, I write down the number of pages. I write down the number of pages I read, as well as a point on the graph, and then line it all up as each day goes by. And yes, I started one book 2 weeks ago. I finished that now. In between the reading of that book, I started another book. That's why I have 2 written down right there. And if you want to switch up the mood and sleep graph, you can do that also. Everything is customizable to your preferences. And just like that, we're basically done the tracker. But there is one thing that I have missed. That is the title. July 2026. Exact same thing for yourself. Over the course of the next few months, you'll achieve some great results. And there we have it, the tracker made. So if you're wondering what the main differences were, first of all, I took the habit part much less seriously. Making it feel like you must get through everything isn't your habit tracker's purpose. It's more of the awareness than that you know you're tracking these, which makes you much more likely to complete them, while removing any feelings of must completing each. How I done this was by choosing one habit to be my daily non-negotiable, which was reading. And I know as long as I get through just that one, it's a success on my tracker. And everything else I'll just track like normal to see the satisfaction of the stats. The second difference is that I put it into a notebook. For those who don't know, I had it on a piece of paper before, and switching it like this was the biggest game changer. It just puts everything from my mind into one place, which I see daily. So I do kind of recommend putting it into somewhere such as a notebook, not just a piece of paper. I'm sorry to anyone who's already made it on a piece of paper. I hope no one has. Thirdly, removing the amount of habits tracked. A big truth of productivity is doing less and doing more of what matters. You don't need to track everything in your day-to-day life. Only the ones that matter to you, only the ones that you're building, and the ones that you want to get better at. Fourthly, I removed the notes section and the reflection area. The main reason was space and size, especially when I'm fitting everything into a notebook, but also it reduces some of the friction. And I tried journal on most days as well. Adding a reflection and a habit tracker, there's no need. It's just going to be a huge hassle. Unless, of course, if you feel like it would be nice. The fifth and final difference is by adding more graphs and focusing on something specific. The idea of graphs is very satisfying, and it's a much better representation and a visual of where you are going. So I switched my mood section into a graph, and I also added a graph for what I want. And this is very important in any good habit tracker, making it your own. Whether you want to start a business, speak to a stranger, read, or get a girlfriend, I'm sure you can find one way of tracking it. And the best thing you can do is link it with your non-negotiable habit. So it builds that extra awareness of that one action. So that's why I would do that optional bit last and add in pretty much anything you want. Okay, I'll agree it is a bit annoying to get started to make it, but trust me, if you make it now or save this for the end of the month, the results and gains will be far greater than you've ever imagined. With all being said, if you want to watch my video on my previous habit tracker, or if you want to know why I switched from a digital habit tracker to a physical one, I'll leave those 2 videos up on the screen now. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again very soon. As I say, goodbye.